for the Attorney-General and asks, further to the Prime Minister's oral answer to... I'll start again, sir. Further to the Prime Minister's answer to oral question number 3 yesterday, what are, quote, the concerns that New Zealanders had about solely having Crown ownership of the foreshore and seabed, close quote, and how does the government's proposal to legislate for iwi ownership of the foreshore and seabed alleviate those concerns?
The Honourable Chris
Speaker. Many concerns have been raised, for example, that the Foreshore and Seabed Act violates property rights, the rule of law, the citizen's right to go to the court for justice and one law for all. These were the concerns raised by, among others, ACT Party leader Richard Prebble in 2004 when his party opposed the current Act. Mr Prebble also prophesied that the Act would do great and lasting damage to racial harmony. The government's proposal protects property rights and removes the discriminatory elements of the current Act.
David Garrett.
Supplementary to the Attorney-General. Will the proposed legislation weaken the test in Section 50 of the Foreshore and Seabed Act 2004, which, as a condition for customary title to be granted, requires uses or practices carried on since 1840 which are integral to tikanga Māori, and if so, in what way will the test for customary title be weakened?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
The overarching test is going to be exclusive use and occupation without substantial interruption. The test introduces concepts of, or has some emphasis on tikanga Māori. I don't believe that the overall changes are going to be very great at all.
The Honourable Jim Anderton.
Mr Speaker, does the loss of sole Crown title of the foreshore and seabed in any way reduce the rights of any New Zealander in relation to the foreshore and seabed?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
No.
David Garrett.
Supplementary to the Attorney-General. Does he agree with the Prime Minister when he said yesterday in relation to the foreshore and seabed, quote, we are not giving it away, close quote? If so, what will iwi have to pay for the 10% of the foreshore and seabed he estimates they will get?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Yes.
The Honourable Jim Anderton.
Mr Speaker, if the loss of sole Crown title of the foreshore and seabed is not going to reduce the rights of any New Zealander in relation to it, why is the national government doing it?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
I gave the answer to that in my answer to the primary question, because there was substantial concern among a significant section of the public that the 2004 Act is discriminatory. It destroyed or removed the right of access to justice for a significant percentage of New Zealanders. It removed uninvestigated customary title, and these are matters that needed to be addressed.
The Honourable Jim Anderton.
Mr Speaker, does the Minister think that New Zealanders are more concerned about Crown ownership of the entire Northland coastline from Maunganui to the North Cape and down to Hokianga, or more concerned about Professor Margaret Mutu's statement that, quote, we own it, end quote?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
I think most New Zealanders are very concerned about ensuring that a significant percentage of the New Zealand population have access to justice and have the right to at least be able to try and prove their case in court. And that's what this legislation change is all about.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Supplementary question. Mr Speaker, to the Attorney-General, did Michael Cullen's submission on behalf of the Labour Party contain most of the changes recommended under the new foreshore and seabed proposed legislation?
Order. I'm not sure the Minister has responsibility for Michael Cullen's submission. The Prime Minister may reword his question to bring it in.
What reports has the Attorney-General received about the Labor submission on behalf by Michael Cullen about proposed changes to the foreshore and seabed, and do they look a lot like the proposed changes that the National Government is proposing?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Very, very positive reports indeed. Dr Cullen's contribution was extremely positive, and many of the proposals that he suggested have indeed been incorporated because they go a long way to alleviating the problems caused by the Stalinist Act introduced by the Labour Party.
Question none. Order. 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 I say to the Honourable Trevor Mallard and the Honourable David Cunliffe, I've been on my feet for some time now. OK, a little bit of noise, fair enough, but it cannot go on indefinitely. And when I get to my feet, it will stop. And members will not call other members hypocrites. Question number 2, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much.